Hi, my name is Axel, and I wanted to show you about a new side project I've been working on, which involves ChatGPT's API tool functions. Some of you might already know what it is, but it basically allows you to have an agent or a chatbot instead of answering a question or completing text to call another function which you define in a specific way and format. So let me show an example real quick. For example, you're a helpful assistant with the ability to orchestrate many functions and solving problems, only one function at a time, etc. And the user, being us in this case, said, do Axel request with my message being subscribed. Now, I have previously defined for the API a function which is the Axel request. This is something that I am sending along the message of completion that this exists. This is one of the tools that the model has available. And what it does, it's basically a description of the function, what it should take as input, and what are the parameters, are they required or are they optional, and yeah, an overview of what the function does. And what we got was that the model, after receiving this message from the user, decided not to answer us, but to actually call the function. Well, actually, what it did was this. Now, what I've developed was not only does it say, hey, I will call it, it actually calls it, but that's not really special because, as we can see, when you send the message string subscribe, it returns this new string, and it's exactly what our agent did. And then it answers us based on this information provided by the tool, and decides to end conversation because end conversation is another tool that the model has available to unilaterally end the chat. So what's new? What have I developed? Well, you can write any function that you want in a file. Let's call it functions.py, and you can automatically have the tools.json generated. So here we have a bunch of functions. Each of them was defined in functions.py. For example, running something on the terminal or getting feedback of input from the user, which can be helpful when the model is unsure on how to continue, to have this middle step where it gets more information and then resumes generating text. And it automatically generates the tools.json, which are going to be provided to the model, and when it decides to use any of those functions, it is called on our script. Okay, so let's see another new example. You can regenerate the tools.json based on if you have or have not changed the functions.py file. In this case, we didn't, but we could have, and in this case, it would make sense to make this parameter true because the JSON is not automatically regenerated unless you say so. So let's try with a new prompt. I'll just skip this part. Okay, so in this case, the assistant decided that it wants to ask for our feedback. We are not yet seeing this because the tool has not yet been printed, but let's say I want to create a folder called Miami. So we are getting what just happened, the model asking us how we're feeling today, what we wanted to do, and the system decided to use the tool Axel request, which doesn't make sense. So the model once again asks us what do we want because it used the wrong tool. tool access request makes no sense. Run on the terminal in order to create the folder. And I will not specify again what folder I want to be created. So it once again mistook the message. Yes. Use the terminal and run command. This time it got right and it created the file called Miami, the folder called Miami, because it ran on the terminal instead of this function, which makes nothing but print a string. Now we discuss, hey, we've already done this, what else do you want me to do? Let's just say, let's use another function. Tell me any fun fact about Axel. So what it did was use the function which returned information about me, and well, you have this description, my age, my job, and yeah, that's 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 what it did. How about this fact about Axel? Axel is a 22-year-old Axel software engineer. Would you like to know more? No. Thank you. I'm done. And what the model should do now is end composition, and that's what it did. So I'm sorry if this was a bit long or longer than what it needed to be. I thought it is cool because if you now add any function that you want, the model can now learn how to use it, and basically it can extend its own arm however it likes, because as the model can have a function that writes files and saves them, it can also write files on the function.py or in the tools.json, basically meaning that the model has the ability to augment itself and give itself all the tools that we want. It could even hack all the computers if it was evil or something, which I don't think so. And that's it. Thank you and subscribe.